So let me present my screen. I hope everyone is able to see the screen. So let's start the day. So today we are going to have a masterclass with Python. So now let me ask you one question. Like, why do you want to learn this Python programming? So, whenever you are starting to learn something new, you should ask the question. Like, you should question yourself, like, what is in it for me? Or, like, why am I going to learn it? Or, what am I going to do with it? I hope these questions are clear to you, like, why you are attending this masterclass and why you want to use Python and where you want to use Python as a programming language and what you want to develop. And what is like DataMind's roadmap to excel this Python programming is. Like we will cover this Python programming classes in almost 12 modules. Like the modules are present here. So first we'll start with the Python introduction and then its data types. Then we will talk about few flow control statements, and then we'll see all types of functions which are present in Python, and then we'll do some exercises for every particular module. And we'll also the crucial thing in Python is knowing the file input and output, how you have to read a file and how you can write it or how you can append it. So these things are important. And the very core concept is objects and classes, like we call it as oops. And then we'll see some advanced topics like regex and date time modules. So once we are done with like the basics to intermediate kind of Python programming, then we'll see few libraries which are supported with Python, so which are very much useful for you if you are aiming to become a data scientist or machine learning engineer, or even if you want to pursue your career in deep learning. You should know, even as a data analyst also, you should know data visualization libraries as well as data pre-processing libraries. So that is what we will cover, followed by few projects. And once all these things are done, like there will be also a session of interview questions which will be taken. So you can always have the community, you can post your questions and get it solved. So now, coming to this masterclass, what is it in for you today? So what you're gonna see today is, this will be touching on the surface of the programmings. What is the programming language, and how many types of programming language do we have, and what are the programming translators, what is its role. And then we'll talk about Python and its Python uses as in applications of Python. And then we'll even see how you can install Python. I hope the agenda is like set. So now the very first question is, I think most of you, if you are from CS background or IT background, you guys know that okay, what is programming. So if you know it, just type it in the chat box. I'll be just telling my point of view what is programming, and it will be helpful for the people who want to actually get it again. What is programming? So let's keep it simple. Programming is just a way for us to give instructions to a computer. So provided we have anything in our day-to-day life, we give instructions and they listen to us and we'll get some task done. So the same thing with even our pieces, laptop, everything. So programming is just a way for us to give instructions, and the code whatever which is behind the computer, which is running, which is actually doing. Let me take an example, like moving this cursor, and then whenever we are watching some videos or whenever we are playing few video games, so everything is written with some or the other programming language. So I can quote it as like it's a very neat way of telling the computer exactly what you want to do, because computers don't understand our human language, they only understand the commands. And as you know, I mean, most of you guys know that is what I'm thinking. So computers speak in binary language. It means like binary is nothing but two. Two in the sense like zero or the one is the only thing that they can know. So here is an interesting thing that I will just tell you. Our computers or maybe our PCs, even our mobile phones are made up of electronics, and we know it. So in electronics, we always have this switches, transistors, or even some diodes, all those things. So all these things will have only two states. One is switching them on or one is switching them off. So on condition is nothing but one, off condition is nothing but as zero. So this is why only computers understand ones and zeros. And if we have to learn this kind of binary language, it will be very, very tough for us. Even students will not able to grasp it. So that's the reason people have come up with these programming languages, so that we can talk to computer and then make our work done. Then let us talk about like how many types of programming language we have. So mostly, so this is a particular diagram. Like I found it like very intuitive, so I just kept it in this slide. So as you can see here, hardware, it consists of switches and gates. Then machine language, which is zeros and ones. So before this, I'll tell you like there are only two types of programming languages. One is high level language and other is low level language. So if I talk about what is high level language, high level languages are nothing but which we are writing, like Java, Python, JavaScript, and C Sharp, all these things. These languages are closer to English language and very easy for humans to learn and understand. So you can treat it as this level. And then, but just now I told that only PCs or our computers can understand only zeros and ones. Then there is obviously a gap or a communication gap is developed between this high level language and then machine level language. So to get it done, so just think of an example. If you go to any new country, then mostly you will try to use your Google Translator to translate those words and get it know for you in your own language. The same thing our even computer does. So it will do this all these things with the help of translators. So let's move to how many types of translators we have. I hope like it is clear uh, till like what is programming and the types of programming languages that we have. Now, yeah. So now let's like continue with the translators. As I told, there are translators, and these translators are nothing but this, they are converting our high level language to the low level language where our computer can understand and do the work and then give back that work, and again there will be a pipeline set it up, kind of this, whatever the result we are getting which will be in low level language is again converted to high level language with the same translator. So there are two types of translators which are quite commonly known. One is like compiler and other is interpreter. So a compiler is nothing but just a programming program. I can say like a computer program simply that translates computer code written in one language, one programming language into another programming language. So this programming language, whatever I'm talking, it will be like high level programming language to the machine level programming language. So what a compiler does is a compiler takes the entire program and converts it into the executable computer code. So it's like it will take whole instructions, whatever you have written, and then convert it. So I can give an example like most of our C and C++ languages, these use compilers, and these are bit faster as well because they entirely convert or translate our source code from a high level programming language to a low level programming language, and then we will also get all this analysis, like there will be operations which are performed by compiler. I can say those are like pre-processing, some lexical analysis. If you know about what is lexical, it is about our English language, and then parsing, then schematic analysis. All these things will be done within the compiler. And now, like, what about interpreter? Both are like doing the same job, right? Like they are translating the languages from one language to another language. What a interpreter does is it is also a computer program which converts each high level program statement. So just uh, keep it very vigilant, like whenever I'm saying like they are converting each statement is the key difference between the interpreter and compiler. Compiler converts entire code, entire instructions, whatever we are writing, but interpreter actually converts each high level program statement into machine code. So this will include, so what interpreter includes is it includes our source code and then pre-compiled code and then script. So I hope like this is um, clear between like interpreter and as well as the compiler. Interpreter is something like the programming languages like Python, Ruby. These use interpreters. So let me give uh, understanding about how this works. Compiler actually works in this way. There will be a source code. There will be a bit of time taken for the pre-processing, and then it will convert into executable code. So executable code will be generated by giving your source code to compiler, and then there will be a machine. This machine is nothing but like it is converting it into your machine code. And how interpreter works is directly your source code is given to an intermediate code, and then you have an interpreter. So many of the people think that compiler and interpreter are bit really different kind of, but let me just make it clear. Even interpreter uses compiler. So whatever you're seeing inside this intermediate box, there will be a compiler associated with it. So I hope even this is clear. So let me take an example of Python. Like it will make you understand what exactly is happening. So let's use this Python as an example. So what happens underneath the hood is whenever you're running your Python program. So when you have a file, so mostly we have Python files with an extension .py file. So it is given to the interpreter called CPython, so which goes line by line and then creates a bytecode file. So CPython is something which actually uses the compiler within it, and then you will create a bytecode file, and then this bytecode file will be able to run your all your code inside the virtual machine. So if you sorry, so if you know about how exactly what happens with the bytecode and all, like if you are from CS or IT background, whatever I'm talking, it is making more sense to you. That is what I'm thinking. And once you have this executable code kind of thing, then this will be fed to your machine. So that is how your Python program, which is high level, is getting converted into the low level language. um I think like this is like pretty much about programming, its types of programming, and then we have also seen about the translators. Mostly these, I mean, whatever we have just spoke, so these questions will not be asked in the interview directly, but if you have this basics clear, what exactly is happening when I'm running my Python program, or maybe how translator is working, you'll able to understand exactly whenever a problem comes, whenever a bug comes, you'll be able to identify it more fast, and you have a very clear understanding about what you're gonna do. So let's talk about like what exactly is Python. So Python um, is a object oriented high level programming language, and then the main feature of Python is it comes with the dynamic programming. It means that when it is built, it is in high level, so all the data structures are combined with dynamic typing and dynamic binding, and this has actually made Python very very popular, and it is perfectly used for rapid application developments. If you want to develop anything quick, and if you want to have get it released maybe within 10 days or 15 days, you can always adopt Python for that. And Python is a like a general purpose programming language. You can use it for multiple purposes, but whatever the statements that you're seeing, like don't get uh, agitated, like okay, this procedural programming, object oriented programming, and functional programming, so all these are nothing but a general purpose things you can use. Like some people only want to use the functional programming, they can also come and use Python. If you want to use your Python, if you want to develop some procedural scripting, so then also you can use Python. So all these things are like very much neatly provided by the Python, and you can use it. And trust me, like Python is very very easy, and it is like most powerful language. You can still read it, um, and you can execute it. And one more thing, or the specialty about Python is it is platform independent code. Provided you write your code in Mac, Ubuntu, or maybe Windows, you can always ship it and make it work in other systems. I hope like everyone is with me till like what is Python. And now let's see what exactly, or like how exactly Python has evolved. So most of the people know, uh, if you have, if you're not new to Python, you might heard the name of Rosum. So in the late 1980s, the foundation of our protagonist was laid off. Like this, Rosum was, who is the founder of Python, was laid off, and then he thought of writing his own interpreter scripting language. That is how Python has started, and it has just started. He was laid off and he was sitting at home. Then he thought, I can just write something. So it has just come up as a hobby. It was not that that he is actually trying to develop something. It just came up as a hobby programming project that he has took, and then he started developing it. So Python, which is officially got it or released in the 1991 with the zero point 0.9 version in the very beginning, and then in later it has released many versions, and you can find like bit of stable version with 2.7, and now presently till 20 we have like 3.9. I guess now the newer version is around 4, so that we can check by going into Python official page. But yeah, the thing is, when I mean, Python became more popular mostly from when it has, when Python team has put their efforts in developing continuously and releasing versions from Python 2 and 3. So this is like officially maintained and maintained at the institutes. They will always resolve your doubts if you have ever come with any special bug or anything. So the community is there. They'll always address your questions, and this is maintained by some institute which is in Netherlands. Exactly, don't remember the name, but yeah. So this is about like Python history. And as you can see, even like with the years, there is a rapid development which is being done to the Python language. Maybe once you start looking at it applications and what else you can actually do, then you will actually love Python. And for me, okay, let me ask these questions. Like most of the people think that Python is something named after a snake, programming languages named after a snake. But let me make it clear. Python, this language is named after a comedy television show, which is Monty Python's Flying Circus. So this guy was a huge fan of this circus, and he used to watch this particular series whenever when he was developing this interpreter language or scripting. So that's the reason he has just named it as Python, but it's not over a snake. Then like coming to me, like why actually I love Python, or like why exactly people love Python is, Python is the one of the most loved programming language, be it a data scientist or software engineer, or even machine learning engineers or hackers even. They love Python because of its versatility, its flexibility, and its object oriented features. And if I tell you, most of the web and mobile applications whatever we are enjoying today, in our mobile phones, or whenever we are clicking something, most of them are developed using Python, because Python provides abundant libraries, various frameworks, and there are vast collection of modules. So you name it, it is present in Python. Mostly it will be present in Python. So The another thing is like when it comes to the production wise, your code production wise, you can also build some micro projects, some macro projects depending upon your enterprises. Whatever you have, you can always use Python. And one more thing is like although um, Python is a high level language which will be bit slow, but it can do many complex tasks. So it is like very very recommendable for the people who are beginners to learn Python, and they can also uh, get more things, and they can learn more things about the programming, like how exactly programming languages working, and what else we can do with programming languages. Python is the best way that you can start with. And the other thing is, Python has mostly commonly used in data mining or data science, AI, machine learning. You can also use it for scientific and mathematical computings. Whatever um, I have stated here, you can always use it and take it even as a if you want to pursue your career into game development or gaming industry, you can also have Python on your portfolio. It is gonna add value. And still if you think that why Python, then these slides are for you. So the very first thing that I will say is Python is, I mean, any other programming language couldn't get more simpler than Python. It is very flexible and extensible. So you can, I mean, you have that leverage to create any library you want for any need and make it official for the other users. And when it comes to the, I mean, mostly data analyst or business analyst know how exactly or like how pain it is to create some visualizations and tell some data storytelling. So Python provides you all or plenty of data visualization libraries. It makes your life more simpler, I can say, with few lines of code. And even when it comes to testing frameworks, you can come to Python. And as I told, like very important or main or good thing is it is free, it is a open source. You can find how exactly Python is written in the GitHub page. Go to the official GitHub repo and you can always find and make contributions to it as well. And Python skills can command high salaries. So that is the crucial thing. Like whenever you're learning something, it after some time we try to monetize it, like we will check what is its value in the market. And as of now, Python has a very good market. We'll talk about even that thing. Okay, I mean, as time has arrived, like let me tell you one thing, like how exactly Python market is, or Python job outlook is. To say, like if I'm quoting it like Python job outlook is positive, still it will be an understatement, because Python has gained lot of popularity, and its demand is rising, and it's like soaring sky high as of now. In fact, like I can say, if you know about IEEE, which is Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, so they have quoted that Python is the top programming language which is present in the present scenario. And Python is everyone's favorite. Even if a CEO wants to learn, he can learn Python all the time. And according to the Stack Overflow developer survey, most of the people are raising Python request, and Python developers are paid more, like around $60,000 to $70,000, whereas like C++ people and Java are getting around $50,000 to $60,000. So you can see there is a 10,000 dollar difference between Python developers as well as C, C++, and Java. So that is like the market of Python. How and how good you can earn if you are like perfect in Python programming language. And there will be few reasons from my side, like why you have to choose Python as a first language. The very first one is simple and elegant syntax. So it is very easy for you to understand and write the code in Python because the syntax is like very much natural or kind of common English language what you use. So let me, I'll show the example. Just a minute. Let me share my screen again. Okay. I hope you are able to see the screen. If you want to actually add two numbers, you can simply do this. Equal to 2 and sum b equal to 4, whatever, and then simply print a plus b. So this is like very, very common and natural. The syntax is looking very normal and natural to me. I can just read it as a normal English language. And the other thing is, it's not overly strict. It means like you need not to define this type of variable in Python. And whenever you're writing C language, in C language programming, you do this, right? Declare and assign, declaring of your variable. So this is not needed in Python. And Python enforces you to follow some good practices like proper indentation, and then the small things you can always make your code more elegant. The third one is like the expressiveness of the language. Python will allow you to write programs having greater functionality with fewer lines of code. So let me give this as an example. As you can see, in Python, if you have to swap a particular number or swapping program, you can simply do or give it as like this. A just a minute, guys. You can simply get it done by a comma b equal to b comma a. So that is nothing but swapping, and that is what we know. But if you see here, this is written in Java. So you need to write or follow the traditional thing. Get it stored in one temporary variable, and then assign one variable value to other variable value, and then whatever you have it in the other variable, your temporary variable, then assign to the new variable. So this is, and you can see it's almost like around 10 lines of code, which can be simply written in two lines. Like ignore the print statements, you can simply write it in 3 lines. So that is the expressiveness of the language that Python is providing to us. And now you can think that okay, we are like good. We have seen what exactly and what exactly is Python, why we need to learn Python and all. So now you might get a question of like where we have the Python communities where we can enrich our skills. So the very first thing is I can say like we do have a community of Python. Like you can always post your questions as I stated earlier also in the very beginning. You have a data minds community. You can post your questions. You have any bug, you can posted, our like team will be able to answer them. Even if you want some help, we will always be there to help you. And other communities which are globally present are PyCon is the official or global Python community which is present. And even you have Google forum for Python, and as well as there is a Stack Overflow Python questions, so you can always visit them. Now, what or like how many types of working modes which are present with Python programming? So I can say there are like two basic modes. One is scripting, one is interactive. So IPython is nothing but interactive Python, and Python script is nothing but script mode. So the normal mode is the mode where everyone try to use like Python scripts .py files. So it's like if you have to write a particular program with some set of instructions, then you can use scripting. But if you are actually trying to research something, you want to know something, do some trial and error kind of uh, trails, then you can use interactive Python, which is like a uh, command line shell, which will give immediate feedback for each statement. So just now I have showed you one interface which is known as Jupyter Notebook. We'll talk about it in other next slides. But yeah, that is a command in shell. So where I'm getting immediate feedback for each statement, whether it is printing the thing what I want or not. While and one more thing is whenever we are running this kind of command line shells, right? So it try to store the variables whatever I'm using in that particular uh, instance. So it is stored in cache. So it's like active memory which is present. And now coming to like the Python users, like who exactly is using Python? So Python is being used by many big companies. From you can take from a small and medium enterprises to very big organizations. They are using Python to make their business more flexible and good. I can quote like few companies like Google, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Quora, Netflix, even Dropbox. These are using Python extensively for the development, and mostly Python. I mean, these companies mostly use Python for the web app development platforms because it has many advantages. And let me give even another um, perspective. Like there will be few companies which are present in India which extensively use only Python for their web development. So the companies will be like bit new to you, but I'm just stating their names, like Pixel Crayons, RNF, Pragite, even you can take it as SAGIPL, and even Mind Browser, Value Coders. These guys use Python only for the web development, and these are like I can say startups which are just started in 2010 or 2011 or even 2015, and they're making a very good revenue out of the Python developments. And now, like coming to our like last more or like last stage, which is installing Python. Like now, how can you get started or using the Python? So the very first thing is, I mean, I suggest is you always have a Python page. You can go to Python official page and download it, but that will be mostly a IDE kind of thing um, where you can write .py files. But if your aim is to actually get your career pursued in data science, machine learning, or the data analyst, or data engineering, or these things, then I suggest you to have the Anaconda package, Anaconda IDE. So this is a most popular Python distribution which is present in the market. So I suggest you to download this. This has more packages, and there are like few other packages also which are pre-installed. If you go with a raw Python uh, executable file, then you need to download everything. But Anaconda has some pre-installed things, libraries, there you don't need to take care of anything. And it offers a very nice GUI, which is a Jupyter notebook. So let me um, get it. Okay, so this is, let me show. So this is the GUI, which is with the Jupyter. So here this is like a command shell. So you can write anything, like you can get it printed, and you'll immediately able to see the result. And even if you're trying to develop some machine learning algorithms, you can always use this, like POCs kind of thing. Or even if you want to get some do if whenever you're doing some trial and errors with, I mean, whenever you're trying to get your problem solved with one machine learning algorithm, it's not that in real time you should only use one machine learning algorithm for one particular type of problem statement. So you can run many things, and then you will check its accuracy or its evaluation metric, and then decide which particular model that I have to go with. So in that kind of scenario, Jupyter Notebook will help you, because here you will be able to see the result immediately. So there are like few steps that you need to follow if you are trying to download Anaconda. So you have to visit the official Anaconda page and then get it installed. Let me show that. So you can always visit this page, download it according to the OS that you're using. And once you are there, like it will be, I mean, I recommend you to get it, the latest version. Mostly it will show the latest version only, so no need to worry. So once it is downloaded, run that as an administrator to get all the uh, things. And sometimes it will be like hard if you are just doing it as a, if your admin rights are not properly present, and it will make few problems in later stages whenever you're trying to download some libraries and all. So you need to just, it's very very simple installation that you need to follow. Just click on next, next and all. Then you have to set your particular location. So most of the people store it in the C. That's like good also, like you can store it. And then always try to do this, like add your Anaconda to the environmental variable, so that it will not create problems when you're running your program. If you don't set it, there will be few, as I told earlier also, like Python has many libraries, and every library comes with its own installation. So whenever you're trying to run it, if that particular package is not present in the folder, whatever the folder which is where you're actually getting all the distribution packages, then it will throw an error. So setting up this thing will actually help you a lot or save your time, and then your installation will be done. Then yeah, it'll be ready to use your Anaconda Navigator, and then it looks something like this, where you have, I mean, now Jupyter, sorry, Anaconda has come up with more options, but yeah, mostly, I mean, for me, I use Jupyter Notebook and VS Code and Spider. So depending upon the project that I'm doing, or depending upon um, the level, like, if I have to finish the project and project has many files that I need to manage, then I go for VS Code. And if it is just like something I need to do some research, then I'll go with Jupyter Notebook. As a, if you're an absolute beginner, I suggest you to go with Jupyter Notebook because it gives you a kind of interactiveness. It's like you're talking to Python, and why it is not happening, kind of. You will always have your questions cleared. And even Jupyter Notebook has a very good community. Even if you're facing any problems with GI kind of thing, you can always visit their website and post it. So if you want to use the command prompt, it is same as that of CMD. I suggest, like, most of the people do this. Like, if they have to install anything, they will directly do it here, like pip install anything, numpy, pandas, anything. But this is not suggestible. I suggest you to go to your Anaconda prompt and then download it. So this is more about, like, what is Python, like its history, and why exactly you need to use Python, sorry, why Python, and its applications, its users, and the job market of the Python. So if you have any doubts, you can always quote it here, like I'll be able to answer them now. So very thanks for attending this masterclass, and like now the floor is free for your questions. I'll be answering it if you have any.